could not afford this lifestyle if I was living in the US because I go to cafes every weekend. But if I was living in the US, I would be paying for a car. I'd be paying for insurance for that car. I'd be paying a huge amount for health insurance. And most likely, most of my paycheck would be going towards rent. So no, I probably couldn't afford a lifestyle like this in the United States.
Do we think that's a good amount to live on in the US? Is 26,000, sorry, is $24,000 enough for a 26-year-old? Let's listen and find out.
My name is Michaela Cricchio. I'm 26 years old. I make $24,000 a year and I live in Seoul, South Korea. I'm an English teacher in South Korea. I work at an English academy called a Hagwon. I teach kindergarten to elementary school students, and this is my second year teaching in the country. It's not an easy job, but it also depends on what country you decide to go to. I love Korea, but the work culture may be intense for somebody who comes from, Western culture. It is not easy to teach English, even if you are a native speaker.
It's not easy to be a teacher in general, so let alone doing it in a different country. But let's find out how she is enjoying it.
Because as native speakers, we grew up learning the language differently. And for me, I have actually taught my fair share of grammar classes. And some of the things, the concepts and stuff, I didn't realize, that I maybe have been using them wrong, like whether it's speaking or writing. When I graduated from college, I decided to go work for the hospitality industry. I worked for 2 different cruise ship companies, and I was able to save a lot of money because it's rent-free, and yes, you do work a lot of hours, but it's rent-free.
It's amazing at how much you can save when you have your accommodation taken care of. You essentially just have to just worry about your other general living expenses, and most times accommodation takes a huge chunk of your salary, so that's good in a way. What do you think?
It's actually really easy to become a certified English teacher abroad. So the steps that you have to take is, first of all, you need to have a bachelor's degree to work in Asia. And the next step would be to get your TOEFL certification. It's kind of like taking a basic college course. Living abroad is great because
I can only imagine living abroad, you get, I suppose, a lot more opportunities to do other things that you wouldn't do normally. So let's find out what she does in her spare time.
as you get to experience a whole new culture, customs, food, meet incredible people. Like you get to meet many expats. I've created such strong friendships here, seen so many amazing things that I would have never been exposed to if I decided to stay home. Living abroad obviously still has its fair share of problems. If you don't speak the language, it's going to be harder here. I still have a difficult time doing even the most basic things like going to the doctor. And so you have to mentally prepare yourself to deal with even going to the grocery store can be hard. If you
Making a change is definitely never easy, especially if the smallest things, the things that you do on your day-to-day, become difficult tasks. But at the end of the day, if it's all about work-life balance, then it might be worth it. Let's keep watching to find out.
you come to Korea, don't buy Doritos because they taste sweet. At least to me they do. I'm good with money now that I'm older. Before I wasn't, but I've learned a lot living on my own and living abroad and realizing I'm on my own out here, 7,000 miles away from where I grew up. Getting paid once a month has helped me budget very well. I used to be bad at budgeting, but now because only getting paid once a month, It definitely helps you know where your expenses are going, where to.
Having a budget really goes a long way because it keeps you in line. You know exactly how much you're spending, how much you're saving, and especially if you've got a goal that you're saving towards, it's always good to have a clear picture of how much you have, how much is going out, and exactly how long it will take you to achieve that goal.
Use your money wisely and when to be frugal, especially at the end of the month when, payday's coming up, then you don't have to worry as much. But it's definitely helped me become more conscious of how I spend my money. My rent is
Again, that's probably why she's able to save such a large chunk of her salary because her rent is taken care of. But let's keep watching.
actually covered by my school, which is very nice. So that takes a huge chunk out of my expenses. But as an English teacher in South Korea, you're responsible for covering your utilities. So that's electric, hot water, gas, and your internet. But all those things are really, really cheap compared to what you would pay in, say, the United States. My internet's very low. It's maybe around $15 a month. And then for the utilities, that's under $100. So I try to go to the grocery store every week because I try to cook at home as much as I can because I go out so much during the weekend, so I know where I have to cut back. This is also like where my budgeting comes in because I usually only try to eat out 2 times a week. In Korea, the produce, like the fruits and vegetables, they are so expensive here. So I only get like a select few of like buying fruits and vegetables. I mainly try to eat rice, the cheaper frozen vegetables, and some of the meats, but overall, grocery shopping can be a little bit more pricey here, I would say. On a typical weekend,
That's actually not that bad, spending $35 on a weekend. If she was in America or London, that would be a completely different amount.
usually spend around $35 at the most, going to one cafe and one restaurant. Because I have plenty of photos here. I've done 2 photo shoots here.
This is your third.
If we're talking birthday celebration, going away parties for friends that are leaving, that's going to cost a little bit more. So I would add about $10, $15 to that amount. I wasn't paying it before because of the COVID relief, which is still actually going on now. But because of the interest, I decided to pay on the principal so that I can get more knocked off. And right now, I started paying about $100 a month, which was about $10 more than I was paying. But when I have extra money lying around, I will up that cost to maybe $130 a month. My overall goal is to have it paid within the next 3 or, maybe adding on extra year, 4 years. Because my mindset has changed a lot. At first, I said, I'm gonna be paying this off forever, so might as well just get used to it, right? But then I wanted to start changing my financial mindset and saying, like, you can do this. You can pay it off in a shorter amount of time.
$650 savings per month. What are your thoughts on this? Let's keep watching.
I try to put half of my paycheck into my savings account, and then I have to divvy up those other amounts for student loans and for investing. So I do it all myself. I feel content about the money I make here in South Korea. I'm the type of person, I don't need a lot of money to be happy.
That seems to be the common question. Do you think you need a lot of money to be happy, or would a sufficient amount where you're able to cover your general living costs and have a little bit more, do you think that would go a long way, or you, would more money be better? Let me know in the comments.
enough to travel. And that's really just about it for me, travel and experience new things. Of course, people from the outside looking in would say $24,000 a year, that's nothing. How do you live? Like, I know it's a very small amount, but for me, it really doesn't matter. As I said, as long as I have enough money to travel, I'm completely okay with, making enough to cover my basic needs and do the traveling. Sometimes I get lonely living here when it comes to my family and some friends that I have back home because, I've been relying on FaceTime the past year or so. But with my friends here, I've been lucky enough to find fellow expat, English speaking friends here. So it's really nice to have people that have the same mindset as you, have the same job as you, have the same reasons for coming to South Korea as you do. It feels absolutely surreal now to actually be able to travel because I never thought that I was going to be able to do this. I'll be really honest. Never thought that I was going to leave the United States. Living a nomadic lifestyle to me means working for my computer and maybe working for an English school part-time because I do like to teach English. I just don't know if I want to continue it full time. I also do a little bit of freelancing on the side, so I'm hoping that I can change that into a full-time career, which will allow me to live anywhere in the world, work for any company. The biggest misconception about living abroad is that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, the perfectly edited photos that you see on Instagram. It's still real life, just in a different place that just happens to speak a different language and have a different flag. If I had waited,
What do we think? Does $24,000 a year sounds like enough money for you? Would it be enough considering that your living costs are covered? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.